Hello, small town pride. I am here with Goddess, performer extraordinaire. Goddess, how are you doing today?
I'm doing terrific. How are you doing
Oh,
today?
so good. Happy Pride.
Thank you. You as well. Like
Awesome.
pride every day,
Yeah,
That's how we get to treat it.
365
That's what's up.
year round. So I'm really curious, how did the name Goddess sort of come into being?
Yeah, so when I started trying to figure out a rap name, I wanted to use the irony of women that always had these hyper feminine names. And so originally I was like, I want to be, like a Greek goddess or something like that, and
Mm-hmm.
have something really ironic because I'm really butch. And then I thought, man, like, what if I took a combination of "you got this" and a goddess and
Ooh, I
combined
like
it,
that.
so it was goddess.
Clever. I like it. So tell
Thank you.
me tell me a bit about your music.
Yeah, I started rapping many, many years ago in Madison, Wisconsin, and at the time there were no openly gay, at least visible, really
Mm-hmm.
artists in mainstream at all, but certainly hip hop. And so I just started taking my diary basically and all my thoughts about inequalities for gay people and marginalized groups of people, and I just started kind
Mm-hmm.
of taking poetry to a beat, and it started to actually really take off. I think people just couldn't believe what I was saying so they were kind of drawn to the fact that I was so honest. And so my career started to do really well in Madison, and I would start touring around the Midwest. And then I met my former singer. She has an incredible voice, and she was in a rock band, and so
Mm-hmm.
we kind of joined forces, and then we moved to New York. We had a couple breaks. We were on the L Word, the season 3 finale, singing "Lick It," and kind of when that aired, and then also some MTV logo visibility, it just blew our career up. And then we
Yeah.
toured for about 10 years, and then I just really wanted to take a break from, touring for a little bit and try to get a
Mm-hmm.
little more grounded with family and things like that. And yeah, and now I'm working on my first solo album actually.
Nice. That's really exciting. So what drew you to hip hop as a genre?
So, I grew up playing percussion. So I
Mm-hmm.
started playing the drums when I was like 9 or 10 years old. So I loved rhythm. And, even though like I was like a white girl from Michigan, the hip hop that I listened to in the 90s resonated with me so much because people were speaking from a voice of pain, and I was really drawn to honesty and vulnerability in music, and I just loved it, and I loved how it sounded. And I just really wanted to speak very brutally and very honestly through music, and hip hop gives you that
Mm-hmm.
ability. You when you sing, you have to hold your notes for a long time. When you rap,
Yeah.
you have a lot of words you can say in a song.
Yeah. So focusing more lyrically.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So who have been some of your biggest influences?
So definitely old school, like Salt and Peppa,
Mm-hmm.
Tupac. He could take like a world problem and sum it up in 3 minutes in a
Yep.
way everybody could understand. New stuff, I love Lizzo. I love what she's doing. I actually really like Chance the Rapper. There's some people doing some
Mm-hmm.
really cool stuff, Logic. But I'm inspired by everything, and I'm inspired by Prince is like my favorite artist. I loved how bold Madonna was. I don't know. I just like anybody that's very honest in their music.
Mm-hmm. So how do you identify as far as gender, sexual orientation, that sort of thing?
Lesbian,
Uh
a
huh.
butch lesbian, really.
So how has it been sort of navigating the entertainment industry as a butch lesbian?
It's definitely been hard.
Mm-hmm.
We would have, we used to live in New York, and we'd have big labels come to see us, and they'd say, "You're one of the best groups I've ever seen live ever in my whole life, but I don't know what to do with you." And we'd hear that all the time. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, just put us on the radio,
Right.
because it's like,
It's that
men
easy.
can't. What was that?
It's that easy.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
It's like, men can't identify with me. A lot of straight women might be a little freaked out, like if it's, like a
Mm-hmm.
Kalani or, some really hot babe that's bi, it's kind of different. But, I've never used that as like an excuse,
Right.
like I'm just, I make music, and if people like it, they like it. And I'm always just going to be me and be honest in my music.
Yeah. So what do you count as some of your greatest accomplishments as a performing artist?
I've been really lucky being able to do music for my profession and, getting the break on the L word and,
Mm-hmm.
some things like that. But honestly, I'd say when I have like a 13-year-old gay kid, that's from a small town come up to me and say, like, my music's the only reason why they were able to get through this week or, that day at school or, vets in Iraq who are too scared to come out who would tell
Mm-hmm.
me they'd like sneak and listen to my music at wartime. It's like things like that that is the biggest accomplishment I can possibly feel is inspiring people and giving them hope. So, of course there's been great awards and honors, but it's the individual people that I've
Mm-hmm.
affected.
That's great. So you've performed at Pride festivals all over. Is that right?
Yeah.
So what has sort of been your experience performing at Pride?
I love performing at Prides. Like it's the best because it's like, the one day a year that gay folks can feel completely comfortable with themselves,
Mm-hmm.
and so I just love that environment, right? It's just great. They're definitely my favorite events to play. And I've had really fun in smaller towns,
Mm-hmm.
like yeah, like San Francisco Pride was great, New York was great, Atlanta, stuff like that. But it's
Right.
like I'll have this really fun time, somewhere in Illinois or Allentown, Pennsylvania, or it's just like
Right.
people are very appreciative,
Mm-hmm.
for acts to kind of come to these towns. It's not as common, and so yeah, I mean, I don't know, it's just such a good vibe. It's my favorite place to play always.
Yeah, and it sounds like that really connects with some of your what you view as some of your greatest accomplishments as well. Sort of seeing how people are really relating to and using your music, maybe in
Absolutely.
smaller towns in different ways than they might in bigger towns.
Yes, absolutely.
Cool. So you said that you're working on your first solo album. What's that
Correct.
been like?
She and I put out 4 albums together,
Mm-hmm.
and that was great. She's such a good singer. It's like, it's nice that she's doing, just singing music, right? And then I can kind of do just rapping music. So, um, I actually do all my own beats and I write all my own music, and I am adding a little of melody, some kind of singy stuff that I'm doing too. But to be able to be like the full creator 100% is just really cool. It's stressful because it's kind of all on me. Like if it sucks, like it's my fault, right?
Mm-hmm.
But no, I'm pretty deep in. I think I have about 7 or 8 songs done.
Nice.
So I'm hoping to be able to release it in the next, 6 months to year. I just want it to be like spot on.
Yeah, I cannot wait to hear that.
Thank you.
So, what advice would you give to young queer artists who are looking to expand their capacity as performers and as creatives?
To just never stop and make sure that you work on your craft every single day because you're going to have to work harder than someone that fits the mold,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if you don't totally fit the mold, you're just going to have to be that much more impressive with your skill. So to always work on your craft. When I started out, I made sure that I worked a half an hour per day every single day, no matter what, whether it was like listening to other artists about what I think it was about their cadence or their style that made
Mm-hmm.
them successful, or reaching out to clubs about performances. Now it's social media. It's like make sure that every day you commit to put some sort of content out. You just have to be active. You can't just think that this is going to happen and it's going to fall into your lap. It's not. Like even major
Mm-hmm.
labels are really only signing people with massive followings. So it's like,
Right.
but the great thing is times have changed. It's a lot more accepting. We do have some famous, gay artists,
Mm-hmm.
and you have accessibility to the whole world if you use your platform right. So just never stop, keep trying, be humble, always listen to people that are more successful to you, than you, to take tips from that, and then just work hard, grind.
Yeah. Awesome. You've been performing all over for a few years. How have you noticed the industry shifting over time?
Well, with hip hop, I'm not a huge fan of the style, where hip hop is now. I think the industry used to be so focused on major labels, and that was kind of the only way to get a break. And over time,
Mm-hmm.
it's like it's been this shift of just like you can literally get on the internet, put some content out there that just blows up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really just about not expecting to have one big break anymore. It's about every single day, just that's another fan in the bucket, and you just keep filling up your bucket and in your bucket. So I think times are a lot different now, and monetarily it's harder in some ways because you don't make the same amount of money from album sales and stuff. But if you get out there and you perform, you can make a really good living doing that,
Mm-hmm.
and figure out other ways, to monetize your brand.
So just like putting in the work, whatever it looks like.
Yes.
Awesome. So how can the folks watching Small Town Pride at home right now follow your work?
Yeah. So if you want to, like it's all over the place, right? So if you go to iTunes or
Mm-hmm.
Spotify or anything like that, you can find Goddess, which is GOD-DES, or you can find Goddess and She. You can also follow me on social media. I think my Instagram's like GOD_DES. But if you type in GOD-DES, you'll find stuff everywhere.
Awesome. So anything else that you want to share with the folks who are watching at home?
I just want to say this is a weird ass time. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like as queer people, we often feel isolated and invisible, anyways. And I just want to make sure that we try to change our perspective of what's going on. And instead of like getting freaked out every day and worried about tomorrow, I'm just trying to focus today on like, I'm going to do something to better myself. I might not
Mm-hmm.
be able to go out and party or go to the club or whatever it is, but I can certainly spend, an hour today working on my music. I can spend an hour working out. I can connect with old friends on, Zoom or whatever it is. So please try to keep your head up and be positive. I know that we're going to get through this. Be smart, be safe, and keep rocking it.
Awesome. And we will. We will get through this better than ever.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, Goddess, I am so excited for people to see your music video for Wasting Time. It's
Thanks.
such good music. I cannot recommend it highly enough. Thank you so much for joining us here today at Small Town Pride. Happy Pride to you.
Thank you so much. One love, everybody. Be out, be visible, and be you every day. Let's do
Yeah.
this.
Love it. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, y'all.